It is 8 p.m. and here are our top stories. It's Denver 7 Weather Action Day. We're monitoring high fire danger across Colorado before a powerful snowstorm moves in.
It's nice now, but big changes coming. First, high fire danger, then cold and heavy snow.
Fire seasons are getting longer and first responders are getting burnt out.
Just adds a stress to it that you can't define or you can't be ready for.
Anxiety and depression among firefighters are often overlooked, but where there's camaraderie, there's relief.
It's okay not to be okay. It isn't okay not to reach out, though.
Another steep plunge on Wall Street, actually the worst one since 2020.
There's a lot of uncertainty, and investors hate uncertainty. It's like kryptonite.
What drove the drop and what you can do about your plummeting portfolio.
Investing is a long-term game. You want to be a marathon runner.
Good evening, and thank you for watching Denver 7 News on Local 3. I'm Jacqueline Allen.
I'm Danny New. In the immortal words of Katy Perry, Colorado, you're hot, then you're cold. We saw storms and hail on the Eastern Plains today, and now we are bracing for snow on Friday.
Boo. Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson joins us now. Mike, this Denver 7 Weather Action Day, we're also dealing with high fire danger, just to throw that in the mix.
That's right. Tomorrow is going to be the high fire danger day. Look at the highs we had this afternoon. Low to mid 80s over northeast Colorado. It'll be even warmer than that tomorrow, and the air is going to be pretty dry. Right now, humidities are okay. We had some rain out toward the Lyman area and down to the southeast. That's why it's a little higher there. Winds are not all that strong at the moment, but they will be increasing. For that reason, the fire weather warnings in effect all across the areas highlighted in pink. That's for tomorrow. And then for Friday into Saturday, a winter storm watch for central Colorado, and that does include the Denver metro area. Right now, it's pretty quiet out to the southeast. Have had a severe thunderstorm watch that's just been lifted. But here comes the cold front. That's what's going to come our way and bring a major change in the next 2 days. Windy, hot and dry tomorrow. Rain to snow on Friday. Below freezing Saturday morning in the Denver area with heavy mountain snow both Friday and Saturday. More details coming up in about 10 minutes.
All right, thank you, Mike. And state resources have been deployed to a growing wildfire burning near Pagosa Springs in southwestern Colorado. The Plumtaw fire is 7 miles north of Pagosa Springs. This fire started yesterday afternoon, quickly grew to 613 acres. There's zero containment right now, but it has not significantly grown today, so that's good news. Mandatory evacuation orders are in place for the Lost Valley of the San Juan subdivision. Fire crews today have been focused on the northeast corner of this fire, and that's where that subdivision is. The cause is still under investigation.
We're getting a look here at a fire that's burning along the entrance of Great Sand Dunes National Park. That's in southern Colorado. For now, traffic to the park is being blocked off and the visitor center is closed as crews work to contain the flames. No word right now on how large that fire is just yet. With wildfire season starting earlier and lasting longer in Colorado, the toll that's taking on those who fight them is only growing.
Denver 7's Colette Bordelon spoke with firefighters about their mental health heading into what's already been a start to a busy summer. She joins us live in Boulder tonight with more. Colette?
Putting others first, that's a characteristic you'll find in almost any first responder you meet, and the same can be said for those who work here at this fire station in Boulder. But when you consistently put your own needs second, it can lead to things like depression, anxiety, even PTSD. Lieutenant Tyler Capron, who's been with this department for more than a decade, showed us around and told us that it's a lot easier to talk about mental health now than it was when he first started. He was lucky to have mentors throughout his career he could turn to, but says there's been a night and day difference when it comes to how mental health is treated as a firefighter. Now, he's one of the peer support leads for his department and makes sure there are resources and outlets ready for those who need them, saying it's about finding ways to get people the support they need in the best way possible.
I've had some of those tough times where I'm glad I've had the relationships I've built. I'm glad I've had the resources I've had to help me through it, because it's easy to go down a slope where you don't have those good coping mechanisms to take care of yourself and to keep those relationships healthy.
This kind of strain can affect all first responders like dispatchers. The All Clear Foundation, which aims to help emergency responders prioritize their mental and emotional well-being, tells me 4 out of 5 dispatchers reported at least moderate secondary trauma symptoms when surveyed. Tonight on Denver 7 at 10, I'm sitting down with one Boulder dispatcher who worked the Marshall Fire, a day that sticks with him months later. Live in Boulder, Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
Such a stressful job and such an important topic. Thank you, Colette. For the first time since stopping a man who went on a shooting spree through the metro, we are hearing from Lakewood police agent Ashley Ferris. Ferris was shot in that spree, but ultimately stopped the man who left 5 people dead across Denver and Lakewood. Ferris said today that when she encountered the gunman, she only had one thing on her mind.
I knew that this guy had obviously intentions to kill, and I didn't want him to hurt anyone else. There were tons of people in the area. My friends were out there, other officers, like the community, and plus, like, I didn't want to let him win. So I didn't do much thinking. I just stopped the threat.
Incredible. And Ferris says she's excited to go back to work, but she needs just a little more time to build enough strength to run again. And today, Agent Ferris was one of several Lakewood police officers to receive an award for the heroism they showed that night.
Today, Congressman Jason Crow introduced a new bill aimed at preventing gun violence in the U.S. The bill cracks down on unlicensed gun sales online. In a statement, Crow says, quote, "As a combat veteran, I have a healthy respect for firearms, but military-grade weapons have no place in our communities and on our streets," end quote. The congressman says that since this weekend, there have been at least 8 mass shootings in the U.S. Meanwhile, the Dow tumbled more than 1,100 points in Wednesday's trade, which ended the session down more than 1,164 points, or to put that a different way, 3.6%. That is the biggest loss since June of 2020. Meanwhile, the broader market closed down more than 4%, putting the S&P 500 on the edge of bear market territory. You don't like hearing those words. And the Nasdaq ended 4.7% down. Markets have plummeted over the past month as the Federal Reserve telegraphed that it would regularly hike interest rates by 0.5 percentage point to combat inflation growth.
But analysts believe that the dip today came after Target reported earnings that were well below forecasts.
Yeah, so Denver 7's Rob Harris explains how our recent shopping habits led to today's stock market downturn with Target and what it means for young people who are just trying to build their futures.
Some economic experts are saying Target has become the canary in the coal mine for our economy, and the reason your 401k probably had a pretty rough day.
Why? Because the U.S. economy is made up of 70% consumer spending. So they feel it first when consumers start to pull back.
This is Caleb Silver. He's editor-in-chief for Investopedia, an online publication that teaches readers the ins and outs of investing and the market.
And what Target was telling us today and what Walmart was telling us yesterday is that inflation is eating away into consumer spending. So consumers are going less to these stores and they're buying less every time they go. And if Target and Walmart are telling us this, you can expect that to be across the entire retail sector.
In other words, our spending at stores like Target and Walmart give economists a gauge on how we're all feeling about the economy. And the overall reading is we're tightening our purse strings. More of us notice changes in the stock market now, too, not only through our 401ks, but through stock trading apps like Robinhood and Public, which saw big increases during the pandemic. So those who are close to retirement could be hurting from this market hit. But Silver says for others, this presents an opportunity.
For new investors who joined the stock market in the last couple of years, this is your first real bear market. We had a very small one in March of 2020, but this is your first experience in intense volatility and dancing around a bear market, and that can be very scary. On the other hand, you got to realize that these are features of the stock market, not bugs. So if you have a long-term time horizon and you're a younger investor, you love pullbacks like this. Why? Because you can buy stocks at a discount and you can dollar cost average your way in and really strengthen and build your portfolio.
Silver says it's important to remember that the stock market and the economy are not the same thing. He calls them distant cousins of one another. And that's why time is your friend with investing, and emotions can be your enemy.
The economy is going to go through its dips and its cycles and its peaks. You just have to stick with it over time as an investor, and you look at the wealth you've been able to create.
For Denver 7, I'm Rob Harris.
All right, for those of us worried about our financial investments after today's downturn, we have some perspective to offer. When in doubt, zoom out. While the S&P 500 is down more than 18% in the last 12 months, it's still in the green in the midterm. If you look over the last 5 years, the S&P 500 has increased by nearly 65%.
Denver 7 Weather Action Day for all of this going on. Snow and fire concerns at the same time.
The formula's no secret, but finding a supply is well kept.
Our goal is to address the shortage of baby formula that is affecting families in Colorado and across the nation.
A new partnership helping alleviate the baby formula shortage. We look at what's available to help new families.
Plus, food is a great vehicle to teach people about your family's culture.
It feels really nice to be able to cook my family's food.
We introduce you to one family restaurant with a team spanning 3 generations.
So it's like passing on to, generation to generation. Now we're cooking this food for the people of Denver to try.